warm instead of...
Did he freeze the jacuzzi?
I don't know. I didn't go up there, unfortunately.
Sorry. I shouldn't go there.
I'm bringing you down. I'm bringing you down with these jokes.
So the picks and bans coming through. Lee Sin and Rise being taken away. That does surprise me. Dexter did play Lee Sin the other week, though, so I'm not surprised. There are other champions, at least being one of them, that I expect may be banned here. If it's not, he's almost certainly going to get picked up straight away. Draven Nunu, so they're taking Draven away from Freeze. He is 100% win rate on that, I believe. Lissandra being taken away from Zoro Zero as well. So a lot of targeted bans here. Or honestly, I say targeted, but there are a lot of champions that pretty much most teams in the European LCS have been playing.
Yeah, and Zoro Zero on that Rise, he's been doing a fantastic job of it. And NIP, they just, we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to go up against that champion. And they do take away Thresh, who I believe Deficio was 5 for 5 with, had a 100% win rate as well.
So I was just about to say, Shen or Elise, which way do they go? This could give Elise to Dexter, who absolutely tore through Gambit and managed to pick up Lemondogs that 23-minute win. They've got to be talking about that now. There's a massive grin on Mithy's face right now. There is Elise. It looks like that's what Dexter's going to have.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure NFP was expecting this. I mean, there's no reason to let Elise through when you know that Dexter plays it and plays it extremely well. So they have to have some sort of game plan here because they left Twisted Fate open on top of that. And like, you talked to Alex before, you mentioned on the stream last week that he was saying a lot of people forgot how to play Twisted Fate because it's always banned out. So we'll see how well Nuke can actually play it here. Well, I mean, he did play...
He played it against Gambit yesterday.
He did play yesterday versus Gambit.
It didn't work out so well.
No.
No, we'll see whether it works this time around. Maybe he's going to go for that Zhonya's Hourglass. Pull out that Messiah move that everybody saw many moons ago. The problem is everybody knows that's coming nowadays, so they kind of expect it, so nobody goes for it. Ninjas in Pyjamas, though, it does mean that could well be extinct on Shen. We have seen him playing Shen, I think, yesterday, if my memory serves.
I'm thinking right now, Zach's still open, Oriana's still open. That whole combo for NFP worked out really well yesterday. Why not go with the same thing? They might potentially go for that because Maluno, he's been proven to be a very strong Zac jungler, but then again, he's always enjoyed, Mumu, he's always enjoyed Jarvan, he's always enjoyed Sejuani. It's just all about what he wants to go and what his team needs him to play here.
Looks like Jarvan may get selected. And Caitlyn actually for Freeze, so wants to make sure he gets Caitlyn locked in. The fact that Draven was banned away, it is one of Tabs' favourites as well. He could go for Varus though.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's probably going to pick Varus now off the back of that. And if you pair that with the Sona, the poke of that team is just so hard to deal with, especially when you hit that level 6 point when the CC just becomes ridiculous. But luckily for Freeze, he will be Caitlyn, so if they do go head-to-head, he will obviously have that range advantage here. Oh!
We'll see on this one. That's not going to happen because that would mean there'd be an AD in the top lane. We just saw Madlife actually in the OGM playing on Alistair, so that's not beyond the realms of possibilities, although to match anyone in the support realms of Madlife, I'm not sure. That's as big ask in itself. We will see which does get locked in here. Zoro Zero, could he be playing Kennen in that top lane? He would be up against Shen potentially. Actually, he will be Shen, there's no doubt about it, because the fact that Jarvan's already been locked in. Sona's going to be the support, that's a change. And it does mean, of course, he could just leave Varus till the end because they've no reason to not pick it yet.
There still always is that slight threat. I'm pretty sure Tabs doesn't play this, but of an AD Kennen.
Double AD.
No, an AD Kennen. Yeah, I mean, we saw Jim Bones from Giants last split in the spring, and he played it quite well, and then teams had to start banning out against him. So there is always that very slight chance, but with everyone playing AP Kennen these days, it's got to be Zoro Zero.
We'll see whether it does go that way. What is going to be the choice for Bjergsen? Is it going to be Oriana once again? It is going to be against Twisted Fate. Does work.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Lemondogs are a very squishy team. So, something like an Oriana, when you can stop Kennen from getting to you with that, or maybe even Zed, I mean, you just need someone to kind of keep them away. If you keep the Kennen off you, and then as long as you sustain that initial burst, that initial CC chain out of Kennen and the Crescendo out of Sona, then you should be able to win these fights here. But if Lemondogs pair that up with a Varus, that's a lot more CC added onto it.
There's no ability power either here for Ninjas in Pyjamas, so they could stack straight out. Kassadin, now that definitely is a counter to Twisted Fate, and it's worked so well for Alex Hitch yesterday against Nukeduck's Twisted Fate.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Is Bjergsen going to get a Magize?
Oh, yeah,
like I saw Alex do yesterday. He
so you can do it, I can do better.
Stacks. Yeah, he wants to get the first 20 stacks of the European LCS. But yeah, so he's going to have that easy lane, assuming he will be going up against each other. But I'm pretty sure with that, we're now going to see Tabs and Mythic go middle against him if that's where Bjergsen goes.
Yeah, because that would make sense. You want a 2v1 against the Kassadin. Definitely don't want a Kassadin up against a Twisted Fate. Vayne may well get selected here. That would be nice. That definitely gives them a bit of late game power, and the fact you combine that with the Cocoon of Dexter, That would work very well.
Also, because the Cataclysm doesn't work on you. So, obviously, you can trap yourself in it, but you can just tumble right out of it.
So it doesn't
really matter too much.
And condemn him out as well. It's like, yeah.
We'll just leave this here in the middle of the fight.
I've got myself a free little area. Thanks.
But yeah, so they're still very squishy at this point with that entire lineup. And right now, if NIP hold on early game, if they don't lose early game against Lemondogs, then they should be able to walk over them as the team fights start to break out, because that's where Lemondogs is really going to thrive. It's going to thrive with Dexter getting in there, trying to get these ganks in, because he has some really good lanes to gank for CC. I mean, he has the gold card out of Twisted Fate, he has the stun out of Ken in the top lane, so he can pretty much visit those and camp those all day.
I would say for Ninjas in Pyjamas, they are lacking damage a little bit, because Castin's going to take a while to get going. Caitlyn definitely is going to fall off in the mid lane, like you always mention, whereas Lemondogs have got a lot of damage in that entire lineup. They've got actually pretty good crowd control as well.
Yeah, I mean, they start high and stay high throughout the entire game, where NIP kind of start low and have to build up, but then they eventually finish off a little bit higher than Lemondogs in the end. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. They're going to be lacking a lot of damage here, and that means if you keep Castin underfarmed, if you punish him, if you keep Caitlyn underfarmed and punish him, then they're not going to have that much damage throughout the entire game, and that pretty much makes it so Lemondogs have a wider range of time to close out the game.
Well, there is the Ninjas in Pyjamas, in their suits of gaming gear, not quite pajamas. They do have little onesies, though.
I think they would be dead here if they're wearing onesies with the heat.
I don't know. I think a onesie could be okay. They're pretty thin things. A straight zip up the middle. But I mean, you can I'm not going anymore with that one.
I haven't said anything. That's
Joe's encouraging me here, just off the side. I'm not falling for that trap. We are, of course, here in Tenerife. It is definitely a warm day outside. Clear blue skies in the sunshine of Tenerife, the Gran Canarias, or Canary Islands, as it was referred to yesterday by a certain host. Sorry, Shocks. Ninjas in Pyjamas, though, they are going to be the blue team, and Lemondogs are the red side. And honestly, this one is a battle for league positions, because it's 8-8 for Lemondogs right now and 9-7 for Ninjas in Pyjamas. So they could be tied both at 9-8 if the Dogs win, or if Ninjas in Pyjamas win, they will be chasing down Gambit for that top spot.
Let's take a look at Runes and Masters real quick. I believe 0-0 might be using the wrong page. Because he does have 4% lifesteal but no spell vamp. So you usually get on the utility tree to get the lifesteal and the spell vamp for Kennen, but he hasn't been able to pick that up. So it might be a little bit wrong, or it might be just a new playstyle out of him. But Lemondogs, they're going to push up here. They're going to be spotted, and I have to say, they have a stronger level 1 team.
Aqua Prison catches on Dexter. Quick Piltover Pulsemaker from Freeze as well. Does catch on towards him, but the pink ward being put down from Lemondogs. Did he catch that in the bush? That's just outside the bush, isn't it?
I can't tell. It's really close.
You can change the vision, you know.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it is not in the bush.
It's outside the bush. It's outside the bush, so we can't see that ward. GG. Well done, Mithy. Good start.
He was smiling earlier too, like so confident, and then he fails out. But in the end, it shouldn't be too painful. Obviously, not going to be able to pick up that ward, and it was a ghost ward anyways, or an explorer ward. So in the end, it's not really that big of a loss. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see anyone coming in. You're not going to be able to see Jarvan coming from that side until, well, obviously their ghost ward's going to wear out in the end, in the middle too.
Absolutely. So Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to be starting off blue buff, and Lemondogs are going to be doing just the same. And
looking at items a little bit, I mean, we do have Doran's Blade start out of 0-0, so he wants to do a little bit of extra harass. And we do have, obviously, double Doran's Blade out of 80 carries, and right now, with the way they're set up, we're going to have Lemondogs send 80 carry support bottom, and then we're going to see the same thing for NIP, but sent top lane here, and that's where Nukeduck is currently. So we're actually going to see 0-0 versus Bjergsen here in the mid lane, and then, of course, Nukeduck in a 1v2 situation, which Twisted Fate doesn't do amazing at, but luckily for him, he does have decent wave clear.
Well, we'll see how it works out. I mean, this isn't the 2v1 we expected against Bjergsen, like you're saying. It doesn't mean 0-0, which means Nukeduck's actually going to have a pressure on him, but Twisted Fate with the wild card should be able to clear those waves no problem. And Shen in a 2v1 is actually fairly standard these days. And you were talking about how Soaz keeps his GPM up so high, even though he's always in 2v1s. And these, honestly, most laners these days, they're kind of accustomed to this. This isn't anything new. Everybody's so used to these 2v1s.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a little bit worried, though, for Nukeduck, because he's so squishy. Like, he's not a tanky 1v2 laner. So if he gets caught with an Aqua Prism by Deficio, he could be blown up right away. But as you see on the minimap, we're going to have Dexter in the vicinity. We have Maluna in the vicinity bot lane to try to go for a gank here, or maybe just to hold on to that turret, because right now, Extinct is only level 1. He's being pushed away from all the CS quite well, as he currently has 0.
Well, he's definitely being kept out of there. There is a ward in that tri-bush, which is why Maluna is trying to sneak himself around there. Dexter comes in to try and get a sneak attack, try and help out Nukeduck in this top lane, but Not able to get a great deal from it. Instead, he takes a Piltover Peacemaker in the back from Freeze as well. Maluno is still waiting in the bushes in the bottom lane. He's not backed away yet. He's got that double buff. And I think they're waiting to see whether they dive into his Extinct. Extinct, of course, could just Shadow Dash across. That ward in the tri-bush is still there, so he's going to get spotted now. Expect the pings to come out in a moment. Instead, no, doesn't go aggressive. Lemondogs back away.
Okay, so it looks like he's actually not going to pick up pretty much anything here in that lane. You're supposed to make sure that Extinct doesn't get pushed out. They want to have him make him have like a decent early game. We get a little bit of farm, doesn't get out-leveled here. So that's going to work out quite well. As we do see Dexter, he's still sticking around here in the top lane.
Well, he's going to get caught out. I was about to say caught out by the Aqua Prism, but instead he just repelled straight away from it.
Okay, and as you do see right there, Extinct does have the highest GPM of top laners with 328. So we were talking about just a couple of seconds ago how hard it is to keep farmed up. Oh my god.
Great that was.
That Dawn into a condemn into the turret. That was really nice.
That was pretty impressive, but there's a Cocoon landing. This time Dexter is going to go in, lands it up with the freeze card. The stun card from Nuke on freeze. It's technically a freeze card, I guess, but unfortunately for him, barrier was available. He used flash as well, but that's 2 summoner spells burned there for that one.
And that makes it so Nuke could be a little bit more aggressive, but it's all dependent on how comfortable he feels dodging these Aqua Prisms, because like we were saying before, if he gets hit with one, he could be killed right away. And right now, about 5 minutes in, we haven't had first blood happen just yet, but Maluno still sticking around bottom lane. He wants to make sure Extinct gets a strong early game here, and also Maluno gets the benefit of these this free experience.
He's getting a lot of lane tax as well. He spent a lot of time in there, but we do see Bjergsen. He's just used that teleport, came back into mid lane, so they know the time is on that one. Got himself a Doran's ring, to go with the shield that he started out with and a health pot. So with that shield start, did he expect to be in a 2v1 or did he expect to be against Kennen?
In the end, it doesn't really matter because it works really well on both those champions because it reduces the auto attack damage by 8. So you get to block it off, but Maluno, he's trying to come in for a gank here on a 0-0, but it's a Kennen. He's a fast hamster. It's really hard to lock him down, but Dexter's in the vicinity to turn this around.
He's going to try and throw that Cocoon out. He actually catches, but Maluno was already in the motions of sliding away, so the Cocoon followed him through. Force Pulse and Null Sphere onto a 0-0, actually doing a bit of damage there from Bjergsen. So starting to get that damage just with that single Doran's ring. Extinct now coming up towards the mid lane as well. What's he hoping to try and accomplish? Not too sure. Pushed the lane up already, so didn't lose anything.
That would have been a nice start though for Bjergsen if you can get him that first blood, because currently he's behind quite a bit in CS because of that Doran's Blade start out of 0-0. So he's going to head down bottom, Freeze and Deficio pushed up towards his top lane, trying to get some damage onto the turret, but Nuke still farming decently well. He's pretty much dead even with Extinct.
Double Doran's Blade being picked up now for 0-0 along with the Amplifying Tome and the boots, so hoping to really try and put some pressure on that lane. You can see he's already built up 39 to 23 CS advantage. You see the 3 silver bolts landing on towards Extinct there, pinging off that extra bit of damage. Didn't do a great deal to him though, but Freeze, he's really putting pressure on towards Nuke. Piltover just sidestepped there, hits level 4 against Nuke level 5.
And Maluno hasn't been spotted here in that tri-bush, so they might be able to make it happen, or Dexter might be able to turn this around, might be able to pick up the first blood for himself here. And we saw how strong he is with that first blood, how well he can snowball it. But Maluno, actually pretty much both junglers haven't made a huge impact just yet.
Oh, throws in the spiders, like, yep, I'm going to make sure you're there. Maluno shields that one away, but does force him back away. Both junglers are going to back away from that one. We do see the wolves are just spawned, so Maluno's probably going to head down that way rather than the mid lane. Meanwhile, this bottom lane being warded out heavily by Mithy, so he has good coverage. You can see just in the bottom, in the tri-bush, and at the dragon. So they have full coverage to make sure that Maluno doesn't sneak in any direction.
And that's a lot of wards to invest into Vision early on. Like, it really shows that they want to win this bot lane and win it really hard, which right now, they do have that nice CS advantage because of the aggression that Dexter put on in that top lane with that one kind of gank that blew the flash and the barrier out of freeze here. But the turret's going to take a little bit more damage. And Extinct, I mean, he's fallen even further behind in this game.
And honestly, that, you know, for the fact that he is going to CS advantage with Vayne over a Caitlyn early on is a great bonus for them.
Yeah, and it's only going to, well, I would imagine, only grow wider here, but it's still being closed up pretty well. Extinct taking a lot of damage here in the bottom lane. Be very careful. Mithy's not running Ignite, though, so it looks like they're not going to be able to get the turret or the kill under turret. And IPs, it looks like they're just trying to counter push here, just trying to be very aggressive, keep the lane pushed up really far, and make sure that Dexter kind of keeps busy in this top lane. They don't want to give him that 3-man gank at the bottom.
Yeah, Extinct caught a great Shadow Dash, actually taunted both of them under the turret, which is why he's actually took a lot of damage as well. Means he's going to have to back off. Nuke using their mana cards, throwing out the wild cards, doing what he can to defend out this top turret, but you can see Freeze, he's continuing to just shoot towards it, get that damage down, and back once again. But that's the first turret of the game. Going down is Lemondogs that do manage to end it. So let's see what the Lemondogs actually do with this one. Whether they want to keep Tabs down in that lane just to keep him free farming, which is effectively what he's doing against Extinct right now, so he can keep getting Vayne stronger and stronger for the late game, or whether they're going to switch around and maybe try and put some pressure on another turret.
It looks like they might actually send him top lane, because so he should have that build order Cutlass done when he goes back. He does pick it up, so that means he pretty much can dual freeze 1v1 once he has that level 6 point, which he currently is at. So that would be a very easy lane for them to win, to be honest. It's just all about dodging the Aqua Prison and not getting hit with that ultimate out of Diffusio, which he doesn't have, unfortunately, just yet.
Maluno putting that ward down won't be visible to Lemondogs, so we may see actually Miffy come down with that ping ward in his pocket to put it down and remove any coverage away. Instead, he's going to go down, does sure enough, puts the pink ward down and clears out the ward that Maluno just placed there. Maluno, he's lingering, wants to get on towards 0-0, but he's been spotted out by those wards already, the Mithy, and it does seem that Tabs and Mithy are going to go back down to that bottom lane, so they're not going to keep the pressure on the top turret. They've already taken this bottom turret, but we do see Diffusio and Freeze switching around.
All right, so we're going to see how this one's really going to develop, because that means you're going to have Nuke Duck versus Extinct in the top lane with Shen versus Twisted Fate. And I want to see, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Lemondogs should be able to pick up kills from the bottom lane, as Maluno's nowhere in the vicinity to really help out here. As Nuke Duck, he does have his ultimate available. He is level 7, but he hasn't really made a gank happen just yet. Dexter's actually sowing the dragon at this point, and that would be actually a very huge play out of them.
Well, we do see the rest of Lemondogs going to move around for this one. 0-0 makes his way down. Nuke Duck, of course, the fact that he is now in a 1v1 could free him up in the lane as well to use that ultimate zipping around Destiny around that map. They have taken away the dragon, though. That's going to give them another stretch in that gold lead, which is already starting to build up pretty impressively for the Lemondogs here. You can see it's nearly 2,500 now.
And they're pretty much out-farming them. Well, out-farming are keeping up with them everywhere, and because of the Twisted Fate passive, they're ahead of them in gold just from that alone, not to mention taking that first turret, taking the dragon now, and Nuke Duck looks like he's going to have a little bit of a nicer time here farming away. Does have Sword Boots done, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage with that alone, and it looks like he's potentially going for the Sheen or the Cage's Lucky Pick to go into the Twin Shadows.
And with that Tear of the Goddess going on Bjergsen, it's going to be a while before he gets a spike of damage here. He's definitely going to have to be farming for a long time, so Lemondogs may well try and look to take advantage of this one. Tabs continuing to keep that farm going, no problem with Freeze shoving the lanes up towards the turret. He's got enough with that Birchwater Cutlass to not miss any last hits. Nuke Duck doing just the same. The fact that he's now in that mid lane. 0-0 has rotated round towards that top, up against Extinct, so finally all lanes in the proper positions. Well, I say proper, there's never really a proper position in League.
Yeah, not anymore, not with how the patch has been going here lately, but I'm just waiting for that bottom lane to be very aggressive here, because I still feel like they have that advantage, but they also don't have the ward coverage, so they don't know where Maluno really is at this point, and they don't want to lose the lead that they've already been able to build up here.
Ninjas in Pyjamas, remember, are 7-1 in the last 8 matches. Looking very good. Lemondogs themselves have actually got a pretty good result as well. I believe they're around about 4-5-3, I think it is at the moment. So they picked up a couple of losses. They had a fantastic win against Gambit just the other week, though. That was really the one that kind of surprised everyone, myself included, in that matchup.
I'm trying to remember what the vote was for that. I think it was around 94%.
Yeah, and if you remember, actually the result against Fnatic as well was 93, but it's going to be the Slicing Maelstrom. Will it be enough to get on towards it? Here comes Nuke Duck. He's going to swing around, gets that wild cards on towards Maluna. Takes a lot of damage, but Bjergsen tries to sneak him back behind. No real aggression coming in. Maluna's going to get locked up this time. It will be first blood, and it's Dexter once again that picks it up on Elise.
And it looked like a little bit of miscommunication right there, because Maluna, he wanted to go back in, but no one at NIP was in position to make that happen, and a great flash out of Dexter to land that cocoon and pretty much turn that into a kill. So they're going to turn it into that, turn it into another turret here, and they might be able to push up a little bit further.
Well, they're going to try and get some dirty farming in between. Not so dirty anymore, because the turret goes down. And that was the second turret now for Lemondogs. NIP, like I mentioned, seem to be having to try and farm this one out. It's going to be a while before they get going. It takes a while for Shen to get going. It definitely takes a while for Casting to get going, especially the build that Bjergsen had to build stacking out against 0-0. Had to go defensive early on. Meanwhile, you can see Lemondogs, they've got 2 haunting guys. One on Dexter, one on 0-0. They really want to try and make it count round. This could be their power spike.
Yeah, they're really trying to take this game early on with just the way they've been playing, with the amount of farm that they have, with the amount of gold that they have. And as we mentioned before, NIP, they're going to take a long time to really pick up here. And like you said before, with the items built up by Bjergsen, he's going to take a while to get that power spike. Same thing with Freeze right now. And Extinct, he's almost got that Sunfire Cape, so he will be a little bit deadly in terms of split pushing, but Lemondogs, they want to end this game now. They're pushing this turret here as well. This will take them up 3-0.
Well, they maybe went early on the towers in the mid lane before against Gambit, but it's certainly the right time for them. 12.5 minutes gone. and they do take all 3 turrets down. They've got themselves the first dragon as well, and Deficio, Mini got caught out there. They do manage to land the cocoon. Dexter, though, just stunned out by the Aqua Prison. Wasn't quite close enough to manage to sink those fangs in, and doesn't go deep enough either. Meanwhile, Ninjas in Pyjamas, they are back against their inner turrets now. The only person that's out there is Extinct, and he's even being very cautious about this one.
Yeah, it looks like Lemondogs might wait for the next dragon to really kind of force something. And NIP, I'm not 100% sure if they can really defend against it. Obviously, with their positioning, they can really do that well, and they might be able to pick up a couple of kills. But if Lemondogs play it like they've been doing, playing it so well, then they're not going to get in that position to get caught, and they're going to take it for free.
Well, Bjergsen's going to have to do chasing in the farming. He's actually fell behind on Zoro Zero. And he's just ahead of Nuke, which technically is his mid lane now. Bjergsen even getting the help on the golems there, so that tells me that they really want to get Bjergsen farming pretty fast. He's not really going to be able to pick up the kills here. Tabsy may go aggressive against him, but that force ball still did quite a lot of damage to Tab, so he's got to be cautious of that.
Well, we saw yesterday with Gambit, where Alex was just playing Rise, where he got pretty much controlled in lane, but because he was allowed to split push top, allowed to split push bottom, and soak up all that farm, he became so strong later on. So NIP, they might, exactly just like I said, might be trying to go for that here. Bjergsen, as we talked about, being the main man to carry his team, being the glue that holds his team together, he has to kind of make something happen soon. And Lemondogs, they're not letting that happen. They're trying to shut him down, and it's still been working out quite well.
Yeah, he's actually doing a pretty fair trade, even though Tabs is getting topped off by Mithy on Sona. Still keeping a fairly close trade between them, but the gold advantage is still pretty big, and that's going to give Lemondogs the advantage in terms of items, which should in turn make them much stronger when that next dragon fight comes around. Nuke, though, being pressured by Deficio and Freeze. They see the cocoon coming out from the side from Dexter, not really finding his target. Still trying to get some damage on towards those turrets. The top lane, we see the Maluno. He's going to try and sneak around. He's going to try and help out Extinct, his old Cursey U buddy, and they're going to try and dive on towards Zoro Zero. I think it's simply putting pressure on the turret. They realize that diving a cannon is actually pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's no way they should be able to kill him here, and they kind of maybe just want to take that turret for some free gold. Well, it would be free because it'd be really hard to take it, but just a little bit of extra gold just to kind of keep them in it, just to kind of get a lot of major items completed, because you look at Freeze, he still doesn't have a BF sword. He's lacking a lot of attack damage. He's sit on 1,300 gold, but he just needs more than that to really kind of get his build going here. And NFP, they're just trying to react to Lemondogs, but like we were saying before, Lemondogs, they want to win early, and they've been controlling it so far. And only 15 minutes in, Dragon coming up at about 15 seconds here, and Lemondogs, they're poised to take it.
It's 12 seconds, like you say. The pink ward goes down. Lemondogs all in position. Zoro Zero is going to join them as well. He's already heading down the mid lane, so they're going to make sure everybody is in place for the next dragon, which we've just spawned. Now, is he going to give Extinct enough time in that top lane, or will Nuke use that destiny to maybe even just go up and block him taking that turret? They've already taken it. Look at that. Zoro Zero's like, well, I'm not needed. I'm going straight back up the top. He's going to defend it off. And still no chance for NIP to remotely push out the lane so far. Second dragon for Lemondogs.
Yeah, this was one major problem that NIP had back when they were with their original roster with Godbro, Svenskjern, and the Test, is that they never contested dragons. They never really tried to take them either. And right now, they haven't been able to contest or take anything here just yet, which you might weigh in as Lemondogs doing a phenomenal job taking early on with Dexter soloing it with that pink ward, and then this one having the timing perfectly. But NIP, I mean, they can't afford to let all this gold keep slipping away from them. They need to make the move somewhere, and it's just about a matter of time before that happens.
Certainly a slow start to this one, just the one kill over the 16.5 minutes. Bit of a contrast to the last match we just saw, and the bit of the kill fest that honestly happened in the Challenger Series semi-finals earlier on between Copenhagen Wolves and ESC Icy Box. And if you missed that one, well, you missed Reckless getting around about 15 kills in one game once again. What a shock. He's that's going to be in the finals, of course, tomorrow. TCM up against Copenhagen Wolves. That will be at 2 p.m. UK time, which is 3 p.m. Central European. We are, of course, in Gran Canaria. We're not in Gran Canaria, we're in Tenerife, in the Canaries. Gran Canaria would be the other island, by the way, here. But he is going to see Lemondogs. They're coming in towards his mid lane. They're putting pressure down on towards his turret. They've got to be careful they don't get caught out from the sides. We do see, though, the rest of Lemondogs actually collapsing on this one. There's a four-man push here. There's going to be the ultimate finally coming out from Deficio. It does catch out Mithy. The Aqua Prison catches on Tabs as well. They slide through, but straight into a crescendo. Force back. Maluno taking very low. Puts the Cataclysm down, but he instantly gets dropped by Tabs. But then Ninjas in Pyjamas, Deficio takes down Mithy. But now Extinct's going to get caught out. The webbing, the cocoon, everything goes towards him. He's taken so low. Dexter does manage to back away, but Bjergsen's going to try and turn that one around. Zoro Zero popped the slicing Maelstrom, but instantly got caught out by Deficio once again in an Aqua Prism. So on point with those Aqua Prisms, but Nuked up with the Destiny. They're still keeping the pressure on that mid turret.
I want to say that fight worked out for NIP, even though it was a 1-for-1 trade. If they could hold to this turret, it would have been, because, yes, I mean, obviously it wasn't the best trade in the world, but the thing was, they got a kill, which means they got 4 assists over to their team, and more importantly, they got an assist over to Bjergsen, which we saw Alex yesterday. He got 1 assist, then he just snowballed really hard from there. So Bjergsen, he might be able to do that right now as his Rada Aegis will be done momentarily. But still, that fight, it was relatively close as Lemondogs. They were very low, but it seems like NIP was just a little bit split. We saw Maluno go in and Cataclysm off. I believe that was Nuked and Tabs on the side. And then we saw Extinct actually go into the main force of Lemondogs and then kind of just not do much.
But the fact that Nuked just snuck in there once again, took down that inner turret in the mid lane, is going to take quite a bit of vision away from Ninjas and Pyjamas. We do see the wards going out, and honestly, it's Lemondogs that have the better wards out there right now. We do see down the bottom Extinct, he's split pushing away. Dexter's going to come in, he's going to try and steal away that red buff though.
And it looks like he'll be able to take it for free because there's currently no coverage, and just like you said, Lemondogs have way more wards down than the enemy jungle of NIP. The NIP has down currently, where they have wards down protecting their blue buff, but unfortunately they don't have their red, and Freeze would honestly benefit from that quite well as Maluno gonna get the big one stolen away from him. He's like, come on, I just wanted to farm up here. And we do see a 3-man push, potentially a 4-man push on the middle here, and maybe they're gonna go for their first turn of the game.
Well, if they do, it may be the mistake because we see Lemondogs are all reacting to this one. Tabs is not there, though, so maybe that's why they're going to go for it. They do get a good combo on Souls. Nuked there, Bjergsen. You can see how much damage he's already doing with that Force Pulse. All he's got at the moment is that Rod of Ages. Zoro Zero just down this bottom lane, spots out that ward that Deficio just put in there, and is just trying to bait something towards them. The rest of the Lemondogs reacting well, though, and they're going to push them away from that mid turret.
And look what Zero has. He has that death cap done now. He didn't go straight for Azonius because he wasn't too worried since NIP doesn't have too much damage to burst him down anyways. And then we look over at Tabs. He has a huge lead. He has that Blade of the Rune King done. He almost has a Phantom Dancer done. And the thing is, they're very similar on gold. He obviously has 1 kill over his opponent, but he also has a Twisted Fate passive to really give him that extra bit of gold, and that might be one thing that really kind of keeps NIP held back if Lemondogs do go for an engage anytime soon.
One thing that Nukedog's got to start worrying about is the fact that Bjergsen is starting to do a lot more damage with his combos, and they're going to be also wary of that. He's going to have to get them, possibly Zhonya's Hourglass built out. We'll see what he goes towards. And into Pyjamas, we know they were playing the farming game, but is it really playing into the hands of Lemondogs? The fact that Tabs is on Vayne is going to become so much stronger. We've seen Dexter, how strong he can be as well on Elise in the jungle. He's effectively the 3rd AP player right now for them.
Yeah, so I'm trying to actually think about that specifically, is that Lemondogs, they're happy farming up, they're happy keeping their gold lead currently right now. And the thing is, they can force fights whenever they want to. It's just whenever, or it's going to depend on NIP and how they're going to react. But NIP, if they keep farming up, Bjergsen will get to that point where he can one-shot Tabs, and that pretty much eliminates a huge chunk of their damage. Then if they can survive that Zoro Zero ultimate, which they have an exhaust for, then the damage is not going to be really existent for Lemondogs. So I'd say NIP, they're kind of happy with this, but they have to stop losing objectives because then Lemondogs are really going to snowball here. Yeah,
and in terms of gold, it's definitely piling towards Lemondogs. They're nearly 8,000 gold ahead now. And in fact, they are 8,000 gold ahead. There's no nearly in it. It's just ticked over. And that is a big lead in terms of gold at this stage of the game. 21 minutes gone. It's almost certainly the 10% mark that is always touted around there. I think it's 10 or 20, I can never remember which one it is, of the chance that they're never going to come back. But there's always a chance, of course, in League of Legends, no matter the stats, no matter how glim it's looking. But we do see NIP trying to go aggressive on Mythy. Was picked on yesterday fairly heavily by Gambit. This time, though, he does manage to slide himself away. He's already died once, but with that Oracle on, definitely didn't want to die a second time. He's got to be careful with Bjergsen around. He's definitely going to be a focus now with that big pink eye on him.
Yeah, it's a very early Oracle out of him too, because it looks like they want to control the jungle of NIP, but Bjergsen's going to go in here and get a lot of damage on Mythy.
Just as I pointed out, sure enough, that pink eye, it's almost just an aggressive target. It's like me playing an ARAM. Everybody focuses on me, and they're all compiling in. That's exactly what happened for Mythy. And Ninjas in Pyjamas now, for the first time, are looking to try and take themselves a dragon. There's 4 members of Lemondogs going to come down the river, but yeah, I was going to say NIP, they've taken a bit of damage from this one. I'm not sure they're strong enough.
Yeah, and I mean, we do have that Zoro Zero ultimate on Kennen when he already has that death cap. You see Bjergsen, he's trying to go in and harass them. He's just trying to stall them so they can't take this, but the whole point of stalling is that now we're going to have Mythy going to come back. He's going to be here for the fight. He's going to have Kashino available, but they're chipping them down just enough to get them to back off.
Well, did they see whether Dexter backed off there? Dexter very low. He has that blue buff, and Bjergsen's looking to try and get that combo on. Of course, he's the one with the smite. Although, the amount of times we've seen teams fighting for Dragon these days, they don't even use smite for the Dragon. They just steal it with Piltover Peacemakers. Lemondogs instead, they're going for the sneaker route. They're going to go around the back, and Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're desperately backing off. Lemondogs turn back around, though. They've realized that NIP have backed away in the same. Thanks, Free Dragon.
That was a smart idea, though. They wanted to push that middle inhibitor turret, and what it did was it forced NIP to back off to defend it, and then, just like I said, gives them a free Dragon, so they get that in the end. Bjergsen now up to 2 assists here, going to be stacking up their Rod Ages very soon. He's actually pushing up here in the lane here because he realizes he's being chased, but they have a Twisted Fate.
Yeah, and he immediately uses that Destiny. He's like, yeah, you're not going to walk away from this one. Instead, he's going to try and suicide on the turrets. But instead, we see he's going to riff walk around. Dexter manages to get the cocoon. Bjergsen will go down. It's simply a matter of who will take the kill. Can he riff walk one more time? No, he can't. It's going to be Dexter.
And he's out of mana, too, unfortunately for him. And luckily, he was able to get the turret, though. So it worked out in the end. He actually picked up Merc Treads with that depth. And right now, NIP, they cannot afford to fight. They need to back off. And you see Ping's going down. Freeze is like, I want that top farm. Let me go take it, guys. And he's going to head up there and try to secure a little bit of extra items. But then if he does that, the Lemondogs could go for hard engage on the inhibitor, or they could go for Baron, because currently there's no ward coverage.
Well, Blue Wolf back up once again. Lemondogs already in there, stealing that away from the Ninjas in Pyjamas jungle. We do see Extinct just around the side. He's desperately trying to involve himself for this one. Actually going to try and steal it away instead. The smite was used by Dexter to make sure they secured it.
Well, still, I mean, I'd say giving up a blue instead of giving up an inhibitor turret or giving up another inner turret, yeah, you'll take that trade pretty much any day. And Zora is only getting stronger. He's heading down towards the bottom lane now. He has that Negatron cloak, so it looks like he's going to go for an Abyssal, but he's not going for his Zonies anytime soon. And I wonder if Bjergsen will have the damage mixed in with Freeze to burst him down, which, I don't know. I mean, with this, I'd say eventually they would, but at this moment, no.
Well, it is a 9,000 gold lead now that Lemondogs have built themselves up. Let's take a look across the gold to see exactly how that stacks up across them. You can see it's a 2,000 gold lead in the top lane between, I say top lane is Noobdog to Extinct, so it's not really the top lane. That's kind of where they started. It's a 2,000 gold lead also for Maluno to Dexter. Dexter with a big advantage there, playing effectively as the third AP champion. Zora 0 to Bjergsen. You can see that's even building up even bigger. It's almost 3,000 between them, which is surprising how much Bjergsen farmed out the other day. And the AD carries as well. That's almost at a 2,000 gold stretch. And even the supports, there's just a 200 gold lead for Mithy.
Yeah, and that's I have to do to Diffusio pick it up at GP10, and Mithy unfortunately not doing that. And Mithy did invest that 400 gold, but we see the engage on a Nuke Duck here with the Shen ultimate.
The cocoon, the Cataclysm was enough. They are going to Shadow Dash onto him. They're putting a lot in there, a lot invested, but they're going to catch on towards Dexter. He's going to be able to repel around. Yes, he will, but Bjergsen follows him straight through, gets that Null Sphere on towards him, but Tabs comes around the side, gets the Condemn on Maluno, but a Flash Shadow Dash from Extinct. Is it going to be enough to lock down Tabs? Has to use that barrier already. Flashes away. We're going to see Maluno coming around the side. Will Bjergsen continue chasing? But no. Lemondogs forced to back away, and this just shows the fact that it's a 9,000 gold lead. Still, Ninjas in Pyjamas are strong.
Yeah, and you cannot get out of position against that lineup NIP has. That was an amazing flash taunt out of Extinct to lock down Nuke Duck, and unfortunately for Bjergsen, he didn't get the kill because it was a Sunfire Cape off Extinct that picked that one up. But still, getting the extra assist, getting him killed, gives him a little bit more control, gives him a little bit more confidence, and now Bjergsen, he's up towards that top side, can be farming away and trying to close that gap.
Yeah, he needs to get a lot more farm, though. He's still massively behind, and as I just pointed out, he's almost 3,000 gold behind Zora Zero. They've got to start getting more towers. That's what they need to do. They've got to start taking some of that vision away from Lemondogs, because they have a comfy position around the entire map right now. You can see, of course, that Oracle on Diffusio. He is starting to take away those wards that Lemondogs had placed all around the map, so maybe this is the right time for Ninjas in Pyjamas to start turning a little bit more aggressive, but they have to pick their fights so wisely.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And we do see a lot of items coming into fruition very soon. Like the Aegis on Maluno is almost done. We have the Infinity Edge done already now for Freeze, but he's building towards, it looks like, his Blade of the Rune King here with that Built Water Cutlass. And the Rod of Ages actually should be fully stacked right now. No, not fully stacked. It's pretty much one more tick away from being fully stacked. And that means he'll pretty much be at full power, quote unquote, in terms of that item. It looks like his potential Saracen Brace is going to come in with that tier, with that Blasting Water. He might even go for a Death Cap if he's feeling cheeky enough.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes with that one. As it stands, Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're back all in the mid lane. Bjergsen's making his way to keep that bottom stack pushing. You can see it's a giant wave that Noobdog's actually going to go and deal with. Bjergsen is just taking the golems and is going to head towards that one. So it's effectively a 4-on-4 right now. Both players pretty much with a teleport. Destiny for Noobdog and teleport for Bjergsen. So looks like the fact that Nukduk is there, yeah, everybody's been called in. NIP going to shove straight from this mid turret.
And it looks like they should be able to take it here. Well, I don't know. It's still relatively healthy, and Mythy does have that crescendo available, but do Lemondogs feel confident to engage us? And honestly, I think they're strong enough. They're just waiting for everyone to close in.
Nukduk coming around the side as well. He's running in. They tried to get that cocoon thrown out, but Ninjas in Pyjamas were well aware of Dexter just stepping off to the side and trying to set that trap. And instead, it's not to be once again. But NIP, you can see the way they've set them wards up, they want this mid turret. They're prepared for a long siege here. They've got vision for 3 minutes, and it's 3 minutes they're going to stay.
And you can tell just the hesitation from both teams to really go for some fights here, because we're in week 6. There's 9 weeks in this season. We play still the 28 games for each team, and with NIP now in joint second, we have Lemondogs in joint fourth. Both these teams want to pick up these wins because every win matters even more as the weeks go on, as the games go on, because you want to be in the playoffs.
Of course you do. You absolutely want to be in the playoffs. Not only do you want to be in the playoffs, you want to get yourselves a buy into the semi-finals. You don't want to have to be fighting and running the risk of, honestly, being in the promotion series if you just had a bad day, which is what a lot of these teams complain about. And every dog does have his day at the moment, though, with all the teams. Honestly, I would say it's a pretty fine balance between all 8 teams in the European LCS right now. There's a lot of people that have been pointing out saying, oh, actually, the European scenes fell behind the North American scene because the likes of Cloud9 are running away with it. But actually, I think it's completely the opposite.
Exactly.
I think the European scene has actually leveled itself up. The amateur teams that have come in are very strong, and it's forced the old teams that were already strong to get themselves up that next level.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that statement. And right now, Dexter looks like he's going to be going for Dragon here. They do have that pink ward down to stop it, and Bjergsen's not in the vicinity to really help out just yet, but remember, he has the teleport available. They could try to stop this here, and Lemondogs are going to close it out.
Nah, not going to get it with this time. It was the smite being used by Dexter. No shenanigans being stolen with that Piltover Peacemaker we saw out. But while that's all happening, we do see Bjergsen. He's just clearing out that top wave. Again, getting some more free farm, and slowly but surely, he is gaining ground in terms of gold.
Yes, he is, and he's sitting at 200 CS right now. He has quite a bit of gold to spend, sitting on 1,000, as we do see Lemondogs are going to go for, looks like a bottom push here, and that forces Bjergsen to really react to it. It's pretty much, if you group up and force an objective, Bjergsen's not allowed to split push. He has to come back and help out, because the wave clear NIP has without him is pretty much non-existent. Well, even with him, it's pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, NIP are miles away from this one as well. Lemondogs really completely caught them out of position because they have no ward coverage. They just didn't see this one coming. All they saw was simply one man down the bottom. Extinct getting caught out, condemned back away, actually pulling him out of the fight there, which kind of saving his life there. Tabs is going to be thankful for that one. And they are now in position to defend off that with a 5-man strong team. The top wave, is it going to be enough to push itself? I'm not so sure. I don't think Bjergsen quite had enough time to clear a wave.
It's very low right now. It's sitting at actually about 378 health, so we'll see if it obviously is going to push up enough and be able to pick that one up. But we just engaged of NIP here.
Maluno slides in. There's going to be the Stand United coming in. Is it going to be enough? Freeze does take down Dexter, but there's a great crescendo, catching 4 members of Ninjas in Pyjamas. They're going to turn this one back around. Maluno forced to back away. Mythy going to get focused. That's another Oracle going down. Freeze gets himself the second. This is perfect timing. The Extinct gets in there. They do manage to get the force pulse onto Nuke, turns around, gets that stun guard, tries to Destiny away, not in time. Bjergsen gets a kill. Now Bjergsen's going to chase. He's going to get to Zorizuru. Ace in the hole comes out. There's a double for Bjergsen, and just like that, they pick up 4 kills. Bjergsen's not done yet, though. He might be able to chase this one down on Tabs. It's a dangerous one. He's going to take 1 tower hit. It's not enough. He gets hit by the tower, condemned away, and he backs off. But now they're going to try and turn and burn and go for Baron.
And all it takes is that one engage at this point in the game, that one fight to get you 4 kills, to get you this Baron buff, to completely get you back in the game. They're now up 7-3 in kills, still down right now, 7,000, almost 8,000 gold, but it doesn't even matter. They're starting to beat them in these team fights. They're forcing these fights to really happen, and Lemondogs, Zorzo just, he got zoned out completely by Maluno with that Cataclysm. He wasn't able to get into the backside of NIP, and because of that, all the damage that he's built up was ineffective.
It just goes to show almost a 10,000 gold lead, and it just doesn't matter because Ninjas in Pyjamas, they have that team fighting potential, and you can see already that's just closed the gap straight back down to 6,000 gold. But with that Baron, honestly, that equates to much more than 6,000 gold. It gives them such a big advantage, and now when their towers start falling, that gold lead is just going to collapse.
It is, and remember we talked about this. We knew this point of the game was coming. It was that breaking point where NIP, they just wanted to farm up. They wanted to get to that point where they're confident enough to do the damage just to kind of counter Lemondogs and really apply that pressure. And you and I both see it right now, Bjergsen picking up the Soul Stealer again. He wants to show Alex that he can get that a little bit higher stacks here.
I feel there's a little bit of ego here. in here. A little bit of competition building between Bjergsen and Alex Ich. So we'll see how this one works out with the Kassadin. We'll see whether he does manage to get some stacks on there. Cocky young Danish lad. No surprise there, being challenged by the Russian. Feels he can maybe go toe for toe with him. We'll see if it works out. He is going to be pushing, split pushing in that top lane, and this time Zoro unsure whether he can go in one-on-one. Going to get the help of Tabs in that top lane.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, unsure if he could 1v1 that as well, but right now, I mean, we talked about Lemondogs. They're a very squishy team, and you saw right there how squishy they truly are. They have the damage, but Lemondogs, the thing is, they don't want to be engaged upon. They want to be the team to force these fights, because then they have control over it, and when that control's taken away, NIP can set up the fight exactly how they want to and fight when they need to. And just like you were saying before, with that barreling, you start taking some turrets down. That gold lead shrunk from 8,000 now down to 4.
Tabs actually thinking about it there. He was contemplating it. It's like, can I do this one? I'm not so sure. And he is still sticking around there. He's going to try and clear that wave out. But Bjergsen, he may go aggressive on him. He does. And then straight away, ultimate pop there from Tabs. We're going to see Nukedog joining the fight. This will be Bjergsen going down. Tries to turn it back around. Not even close. Extinct saying, no, I'm not going to use my Sunny Nut. I'm not wasting that. You've been caught out. It may buy us time in the mid lane. But that's a Baroned up Bjergsen down.
Yeah, and you talked about his cockiness earlier on. Pick up the Soul Stealer, and that's working completely against him. He thought he was confident enough, or he thought he was fine enough to go head-to-head against Tabs right there, but I guess he forgot about that Twisted Fate ultimate Nukedog come in, and now Lemondogs with 5 members, it looks like they're going to be pushing here, at least towards this top side, or just push the lanes back out, because when NIP had the Baron and every lane shut out against them, Lemondogs were forced to defend one lane, and that would allow for other turrets to go down.
This is actually going to give a problem to NIP as well. You can see they're trying to be aggressive in this middle, but while you're going to have to react to it, because the rest of Lemondogs, they've gone around this bottom lane, top lane, sorry. They're going to shove down there. Nukedog's just cleared out the top wave that was pushing itself, and Lemondogs controlling Ninjas in Pyjamas, just wasting, running that Baron timer down.
Bjergsen has teleport though. He's up in 5 seconds. They're trying to go for a fight here. They don't actually have anything behind it, but they might be able to put, just as I was getting excited, I thought they were going to go for a major fight there and have Bjergsen teleport in from the backside, but instead they back away and they pretty much live to fight another day.
A little bit premature on that one, Jason, but it seems that Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're going to have to back away, but this is a good control by Lemondogs. They are really running the Baron timer down here. Ninjas in Pyjamas not picking up any objectives just yet with this.
And I think actually NIP might go on the aggression again, but Nukedog, his ultimate's back available, so you see Bjergsen heading back towards the top side, so is Tabs. And I think the same thing might just happen yet again if NIP's not careful.
But I mean, an outer turret, that's all they've got so far with this Baron buff. That's not enough. But it was a Baron of opportunity, I guess you could say. A bit of a theft of opportunity from them. That's a great victory. Maybe they're just realizing we're not quite there yet, guys. We've still got to take our time on this one. They are still 6,000 gold behind. Lemondogs looking like they may try and defend out this one, but again, NIP, this time Maluno trying to tank out the turret, buying time for Freeze to hit on this middle turret. This is an important turret for them to get down. It's taken them a long time, and Freeze wanted to stand around just a little bit longer, but wasn't quite allowed to take it.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, especially at this position in the game when you have the Baron buff, and when the game's really on a tilt right now where it can go heavily in favor of either team, just depending on how this next team fight goes. Remember, we're 36 minutes in, death timers are approaching the 1 minute mark, and Dragon is back up. This would be the first one of the game for NIP, but Bjergsen, look at him, he's being so sneaky. Actually, the rest of NIP was trying to be really sneaky, but you can't do that against a Spider, and we might see the fight break out here.
Yeah, Destiny used to give them full vision of this Dragon fight. NIP do start out the Dragon. Maluno tanking that one up, and then we're going to see if Mithy can start this one off. He wants to get in and get that flash crescendo. He does get the steal once again, Dexter, but that's a great Cataclysm, catches 4 members straight in there. Bjergsen tries to get in, but gets caught by a crescendo instantly. Brilliant play from Deficio and Mithy there. Both supports doing a fantastic job, and you can see Ninja Pyjamas are just dropping like flies. Freeze is the one we're going to focus on towards. Nukedog's trying to catch on towards him, but it's a great Aqua Prism. The wild card just on the tip there catches him out.
All it takes is the tip though, Demon. Get him on the edge, and now with that, they get Dragon, they get 3 kills. They can be aggressive here and start to push up, because now NIP, they can't defend.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Lemondogs are going to shove straight down that mid lane. They have a big wave of creeps coming with them. Nukedog's going to tank it down there with that Lich Bane, with Zoro Zero, with Tabs. There is a massive amount of damage being piled on towards these inhibitor turrets. They are going to get themselves the inhibitor turret, and the inhib will follow as well. Ninjas in Pyjamas will be spawning after this one, but Lemondogs, mission achieved.
It looks like Bjergsen wanted to actually teleport behind him potentially here. He actually does have a couple of wards he could go to, but just like that, just like you're saying, when Bjergsen got caught initially the first time, he's like, whoa, guys, maybe we gotta hold on. We're not that far ahead. We need to take it a little bit safe here. And they try to go for another fight. They try to go for Dragon, and they just lost it. And that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, because now NIP are going to be clawing their way back from a really unadvantageous position. And the Soul Stealer still on Bjergsen. Guess how many stacks is that, Demon?
0.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's just overconfidence potentially being brought in towards there, and that's maybe a problem of youth, I guess you could say. Bjergsen, of course. Actually, to be fair, the whole team's a fairly young one, but that could have been money put into an item that may well have been more worth for him.
I mean, yeah, it's about 1,235 gold, which means that's about 2/3 of a Void Staff, or actually, it's just over half of a Void Staff, which right now would be very good considering Tabs does have that QSS to give him a little bit of extra magic resist, and even has a Spirit of the Ancient Golem built up as his tank item. So he gets the extra regen, gets the cooldown reduction, gets the extra damage to monsters, which means with the Blade of the Rune King and a Baron, you're going to destroy that extremely quickly. And that will be up in about 30 seconds here. And Lemondogs, they have an Oracle, they have wards, they're going to have position of this.
They're going to get their wards out. You can see Mithy floating around along with Dexter to get that Oracle to usage to clear out any coverage that Ninjas in Pyjamas have, and they realize the problem they are up against now. Meanwhile, it's going to happen. Lemondogs are actually just going to go around and say, you know what, we've got positional advantage, let's just go straight up, tank this turret down, let's get it down, see if we can pick up any exit kills. Maluno thought about hovering in there, but instead they're backed away, and that's going to take even more vision away from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Stretches the gold lead to 10,000 now for Lemondogs. Is that enough, though, for Ninjas in Pyjamas to be thinking about going in? They are going to go aggressive. They have got an Oracle of themselves, so they're going to spot that ward, but you can see Lemondogs, they've already started this Baron.
This is going down really fast here at NIP. I don't think they're really aware of it. It does go down before they can do anything, and now NIP has to run.
Crescendo on towards Extinct and Maluno. Extinct goes straight in. He gets caught out, though. Dexter's taken very low, but he can just repel straight away. They can see the slicing Maelstrom coming out from Zoro Zero. Maluno taken low as well. Bjergsen just off of the side, trying to do what he can. We see a Destiny coming out from Nuke. He's going to track down Bjergsen. He's going to riff walk away from that one. They don't care. They're going to go turn towers, go straight towards the base. It's inhibitors that they're after, not Bjergsen. And instead, it's just going to be Freeze and Deficio doing defensive duties.
And with the Super Marines pushing mid lane right now, I believe Lemondogs could just finish this game out with us 40 seconds of NIP on the main tanks, with just up to Bjergsen to pretty much defend against us, against a Baron up Lemondogs when they're already tanking up to deal with him, because he doesn't have some sort of extra even with that Nisi large rod, they're going to lose a second inhibitor here. And Demon, I'm not sure they can hold on to this long enough to stall the game out.
I'm not sure either. You can see the Super Minions, they're all up in this mid lane. The Nexus turrets will be the next focus targets. You see Nuke throwing out those cards in towards that inhibitor turret. The Nexus turrets as well, but Zoro Zero's backed off. The rest of the Lemondogs back away. They're playing it safe for this one. It's 9-7 in terms of kills, but it's 8-2 in terms of turrets. Lemondogs will be picking up a fantastic victory here over Ninjas in Pyjamas. If they can get it, it would drag themselves into third place.
And right now, with the amount of gold they have to spend when they back away, they have the opportunity to do it. Because look at how these item builds have developed over time. We can look at Nuke Duck. He has a Death Cap, has a Lichbane, has a Void Staff, has a Spirit of the Ancient Golem himself. It's like, I got the money for it. If Bjergsen can be a little cocky, I can do it. And has another Nisi Large Rod on top of it to go for that Zhonya. So his damage is ridiculous. A turret doesn't stand against him for long. And you look over on the rest of the team, where on Zoro Zero, he previously had the Death Cap, the Abyssal Scepter, and the Haunting Guys, but he never really got into the middle of the fight. Now, with that Zonya's Hourglass done, he can be even more cocky, especially with his Baron. He doesn't have the flash available this time, though, and he will be able to do a lot of damage. And, that last fight we saw Dragon, that was actually a great ultimate by Baluna to lock them up, but they just didn't have the follow-up. They were lacking a little bit of damage. Freeze wasn't able to get the targets he wanted to, and Lemondogs just out-tanked them.
Well, Lemondogs are doing it by the numbers as well. Tutorial style, take down all the inhibitor turrets, secure the win. And why not? Because they've got Super Minions in the top and bottom. And now it's going to be the final inhibitor turret with this Baron buff that they all have as well. Dexter happy to take a couple of those traps from Freeze, and look at that turret. It's already had a chunk taken off it. Just a couple more wildcards will do it. You see, actually wildcards won't do it because they go through it. But you know what I mean, with the hits from the Lichbane of Nuke Duck, and of course Zoro Zero, as well as Dexter and Tabs, they're all throwing the range damage out towards it. Even Mithy's put a little poke in there as well. And it is just simply the last stand for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
We're going to see that fight break out. They have to defend this turret, because the thing is, with those Super Minions pushing, the Nexus turret's already taking damage. If you lose this one, it's even worse, and we do see the engage.
And do see them going in. Slicing Maelstrom will run there, but Ninjas in Pyjamas are just dropping like flies. Maluno, Mithy throws out that crescendo on towards Bjergsen. Bjergsen's not even involved in this fight. You see Dexter getting in there. The turret will go down, and Lemondogs still yet to lose anyone. The Cocoon comes out. Nuke Dog uses the Destiny. Doesn't matter. One Nexus turret's gone down. The second will follow, and it's going to be the Nexus going down. It's Lemondogs that stop the spree of Ninja.